Hey guys, CJ here, back with another review of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Now this episode is really kind of a big one. It's kind of a little bit of a background episode. For May, we find out that she was married. For Coulson, we find out that he's a Wisconsinite. And for Cal, we discover a little bit of the background of how he got his powers, specifically that he isn't actually an inhuman per se, just that he might have the genetic potential to. So he hasn't been exposed to the Terrigen Mist, he's just trying to get it another way. Before we begin, I just want to say, if I stumble over my words a little bit, it's because I got my wisdom teeth out and I'm still a little woozy and swollen and my mouth is all freaked out right now, so please forgive me. So let's just dive right in because this is a big episode. Alright, so this episode's central focus happens to be on Skye and her relationship with the psychologist brought in specifically to help her, who's May's ex-husband. He's brought in to help her balance her issues with controlling her powers, although it looks like she's beginning to get that under control on her own. I'm glad they already added the really interesting dynamic that she can't control her power in her dreams, which is an issue that I really hadn't thought of prior to them bringing it up. So this time the team is hot on the trail of Cal as he broke out some of the most dangerous people on the index, those that were on the index for minor powers but were criminally insane. Cal forms a little bit of a villain's breakfast club, leading them all to Coulson's hometown in Wisconsin, interestingly enough, in an attempt to draw the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. back home. So just as things heat up, the blind man appears and teleports Cal away, leaving the rest of the S.H.I.E.L.D. team in an all-out brawl against the Index's criminally insane. This fight ends with the revelation that Skye can contain her powers, but at great risk to herself. As the psychologist describes it, she's not actually stopping them, she's turning them inward. So, I think this is going to be the impetus for the gauntlets that Daisy wears in the comic books, as we already, kind of get a rudimentary version of that from Simmons in the end. They're supposed to dampen and help, I guess, brace her. Because I guess they said that they found her skin was totally bruised, they found tons of hairline fractures from her clavicles, pretty much all the way down her legs, they said. So she's really turning these, just this huge vibration shockwave thing inward, and it's really messing up her body. So I think Fitz and maybe Simmons, that'll be what kind of rekindles their relationship. The fact that they have to help Skye in building these power gauntlets that Daisy wears in the comic books. So this episode ends with a couple of big cliffhangers. The fact that Bobbi and Mack work for the quote-unquote real S.H.I.E.L.D., which isn't exactly the big sword or hammer reveal that myself and many others were looking towards. The promo for next week's episode seems to reveal that this is where Edward James Olmos' character is also going to be involved. It seems like he's this group's leader, actually. So the other big stinger in this one is that Cal awaits a judgment of some kind by the Inhuman leadership. Gabriel teleported him away in the middle of that big fight, and as you see there, he's just broken everything, and this is where we actually get the confirmation that he's not an Inhuman, so he's going to face judgment from somebody. That part really intrigues me, and I can't wait to find out what's going on there. I hope for this one they don't keep me waiting for a couple of weeks this time. So on to some pros and cons from this episode. Coulson gets to fight, and that's my biggest pro, is that this is really one of the... We've seen him fight a little bit previously, but the fight scenes, man, he took down his man in seconds. This was great. And this season's fight scenes continue to be on point, as they really started like last season. There were a couple of good, well-choreographed fight scenes, but in this season so far, they've had some very, very good ones from this week to last week, and even a couple of weeks before. It's a nitpicky negative at this time, but I really wish the psychologist would have stuck around. He really stole the show in every scene he was in, but it's understandable why he left. My only other negative is that I really think the whole real S.H.I.E.L.D. thing is a little bit of a letdown, to be honest. I was really hoping for S.W.O.R.D., but that's just personal opinion, and maybe at the end of it they'll spin this kind of team off as... Also, it's okay. It's like, okay, they'll meet halfway and become S.W.O.R.D. But it kind of sucks for Coulson and the team. They get rid of Hydra, and all of a sudden they've got the quote-unquote real S.H.I.E.L.D. Breathing down their necks. So, anyways, that about wraps it up for my review this time. Tell me what you thought of this episode in the comments below. Personally, I really enjoyed it. I think it was the best episode that I've seen since it's been back from the mid-season break. I specifically like the kind of bootleg Masters of Evil thing they had going on there with Cal's little team, and the twist there that when he got teleported away did not see coming. So tell me what you thought in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Signing off, this is CJ, and I'll see you next time.